Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we are returning to War on the Sea, a new World War II strategy and tactical naval war game that takes place in 1942. I'm not sure how far into 43 the game goes for the campaign, but essentially we're fighting Operation Watchtower, the Allied offensive against Guadalcanal, and then eventually some of the surrounding islands. And our objectives are to take Guadalcanal, to take the Florida Islands, which I think is like Tulagi, and then also Maledia, which would then sort of solidify the Allied hold on the southern Solomons and set them up for a drive further up the Solomons toward places like Vella La Vella, the Shortlands, Bougainville, and eventually putting rings of aircraft and sort of systems and people around Rabaul to starve out that Japanese facility. Meanwhile, we just recently got a cargo ship to arrive at Port Moresby to deliver some badly needed supplies there. So we are going to send it back. That took a couple of days for it to arrive. So we'll send it back. Oops. Well, I clicked one too many times. What the hell? The waypoint management in this game could use a little bit of work. And we also almost got this cargo ship sunk as well, because it was sailing to Moresby on its own without any escort, because I assumed it was a safe area, and the Japanese just recently bombarded Port Moresby with heavy cruiser. Well, I'm assuming heavy cruisers, some form of warships, just recently bombarded Port Moresby. Meanwhile, if we take a look at the supply situation on our other bases, Ranelli Island still has 2,000 supplies. Santa Cruz has 4,000. I'm not sure how many supplies troops consume. It seems like maybe the aircraft taking off of Ranelli are what is consuming our supplies. The Sarlacc pit, thank you very much for the follow. Meanwhile, as I double-checked sort of the online what do you call it, like the developer posts on the Steam page, it seems like command point, I'm not sure about command points, but supplies are replenished every week, so you get new shipments of supplies. I don't know if you get new shipments of troops or not, but you do get replenishments of sort of logistics weekly. My real objective here at this point is to get a landing tonight on Guadalcanal, and that may prove to be a bit of a challenge. I pulled most of my naval vessels back. We have 119 command points in the bank, if you will. And I'm actually going to go ahead and release both of these submarines, because I'm going to kind of pivot away from my submarine strategy, which has admittedly proved fairly effective so far. But I'm going to try and open things up a little bit for our surface warships. And if it means having another surface action against the Japanese, I'm fine doing that. But I do want to see if we can't make some progress on the Guadalcanal front, because we haven't landed anything yet. So we should do that. So let's go ahead and release these ships back to the... I need to release both subs. Oh, confirm. All right, so now we have 127 points to build new ships with, and those subs are going to go into sort of a repair mode. So you can see here, I think we get points back when all these ships finish their repairs as well. So the Atlanta, the Portland, or whatnot, in another week, they'll be done replenishing as well. They did bombard Moresby at the end of last night. We're trying for a surface action, get the South Dakota. Well, the problem comes down to money, right? So we've got Task Force 7, which is our sort of amphibious landing force, if you will, with 4 destroyers. And then we also have some 3 transports. These guys do have cargo on them, so if we take a look at their cargo situation, the first cargo ship has 1,200 Marines. Second one has 1,200 Marines. The third one has 2,000 supply. And so that's sort of what we're going in with, is 20, I guess... 2,500 soldiers and 2,000 supply. Task Force 6 has some oil, I believe. Actually, I don't know if they have any oil loaded on them right now. They don't, so I think we should go ahead and sort of load them with oil. Are they not close enough to the port yet? So go ahead and do that. All right, so let's go ahead and load them with fuel. So we're going to put fuel on this cargo ship task force. And we're going to send them back to Ranelli, because I'm trying to get Ranelli upgraded. So you can see Ranelli currently has 0 engineering and 0 fuel. We have a level 1 port and a level 1 airfield. I want to get it to a level 2 airfield, but we need 2 runs of fuel there, as well as 2 runs of engineering supplies there to get that done. As you upgrade the airfield, you start getting more than just like Wildcats. Eventually, you start getting like Avengers and B-17s. And I will say that having these Wildcats at Ranelli Island has been very helpful because they're basically like an aircraft carrier, but it can't be sunk. And they do have the range to get in toward Guadalcanal. They can't really hang out there very long, but they do have the range to get there. And that is, I think, very helpful. It kind of minimizes the importance of having an aircraft carrier to some extent. All right, so 127 points. Let's go ahead and see what kind of task force can we build for 127 points? What do these sims have? They've got 2 torpedo launchers. They look like double mounts. We could go back to the Fletchers, but we already got a couple of those sunk. Fortunately, there's 176 Fletchers in the damn list of destroyers to choose from, so there's quite a few we can choose from. So if we were to say, let's do 3 Fletchers, I think 3 destroyers would be enough for a surface task force. That would be 30. That would leave me with 97 points left. And then if we wanted to do some more heavy cruisers, is the Baltimore, are they light? Well, they're not available till April 15th, it doesn't look like. Yeah, so the Baltimores are in the list, but it says they're available April 15th to 43, so we can't use them yet. Thanks for the follow, Bostovia, Mr. Rambo 3. All right, so what about the Wichita? Wichita's a nice light cruiser class. Any big boys, any battleships? Yeah, there are some. So the North Carolina, I don't know when she's available. Looks like she's available now, but she costs 80 points. So that would right there, just by that, put me kind of at my max. The alternative to the North Carolina is the South Dakota, which is also 80. Another big boy. Another 80 points here. So we could just do 3 destroyers and a battleship and try and engage a large Japanese fleet that way, but I get a little bit nervous of sending battleships in like that and getting them obliterated by Japanese sub-torpedoes. The North Carolina and 4 destroyers, and you get the historical 2nd Guadalcanal Task Force. I mean, we could do it. Vensk, thank you very much for the Prime sub there. 2 months now. We're hanging out at 61 subs on the channel right now. Quite a lot of support. Definitely appreciate it, guys. I'm just really nervous about getting the North Carolina sunk is all. We've always got the Washington. We've got the fallback. Got a resub to celebrate the Colton Wong signing. Evening there, Aussie in Canada. So part of me just feels like that's not enough anti-aircraft fire in our task force if we do this. But if we do this, I can do 17 more points. How much is in Atlanta? Probably like 20, right? It's 18. Oh, we're 1 point shy. Well, you know what we could do? This is an idea. Remove one of the destroyers and then do San Diego, one of the Atlantas. Marty63 Fletcher, thank you for the follow. So we can go ahead and do this. And then we'll confirm that. Oh, no. Yeah, no, that's fine. Is there anything that I could get that's slightly cheaper, too? Like, we could do a Porter-class destroyer. So if we did 2 Porters, that would free up 8. Plus the 9, we would have 17. Any light cruise? Like, how much is a Cleveland? Cleveland's 20. Brooklyn's only 14 points. So this would be 132. 2 light cruisers, the Brooklyn, the San Diego. We could go ahead and remove these Fletchers, because I think the light cruisers, the anti-aircraft on those ships is gonna be pretty damn good. And then we can go up to, whoops, we can go up to these destroyers. And what would you guys say is the next best thing to a Fletcher? How's a Gleaves? We could do a Gleaves. Do one of those. I have no idea. Like, looks like they've got a quad torpedo mount in the middle. They built 66 of the damn things. Hey, Death Rat, thanks for the follow. Porter doesn't have dual purpose guns. What about the Farragut class? Nice little Farraguts. Well, we can afford one Fletcher. We'll do that, right? No. We'll do one Fletcher here. So 1 destroyer, 2 light cruisers, and a battleship. That's going to be the task force. And then let's go ahead and do this. Do I dare pull the destroyer from this oiler? I do dare. No, that's not what I want to do. Give me the... God, I can't zoom in enough. Alright, let's just fast forward this a second. Okay. No, I didn't want to do that. Alright, so... Which one was that? The... Cunningham? The fleet management controls could use a little bit of an improvement here. Alright. Merge. There you go. So now we'll have 2 Fletchers, the Cunningham and the Nicholas, as well as 2 light cruisers and a battleship. For this task force, to me, we'll do circular, at least for now. I think that'll put things around, like if we take a look at circular, why is 1 in the lead? Why would the battleship be in front? Why can't I swap these numbers? Is there any way to move these guys around in this formation? Like, no? There's gotta be a way that you can move these damn ships around. Swap them? Okay, so swap 1 and 2 then? Oh my god, thank you, you guys. I didn't even know that was a possibility. Alright, let's put a destroyer in the lead, and on 3 and... well, we only have... wait, we have 2 destroyers? So the destroyers at 3 and 4 would make the most sense. So 3 and 4. The Brooklyn at 5, the North Carolina at 2, and the San Diego at 1. Let's swap the San Diego and the Brooklyn. I think the Brooklyn would be more useful in front with the anti-aircraft cruiser in the rear. Oh my god, this is so nice to have. All right, let's also mix this up here. So we've got a circular formation. We should have the cargo ships at 2 and 5. The 2 and 5 should be the guys with troops. So 2 is... but I think 1 also has troops. It does. So let's swap 2 and 5. Or 1 and 5. And then the lead ship in the task force, I'm fine with the first one being the cargo ship with, like, supplies and shit on it. And then that puts the other ships in the task force of 6 and 7 on the flanks, and then 3 and 4 on the flanks. So that seems like the most logical task force. I wouldn't want any, like, just any cargo ships on the outer flanks. Okay. So here we go. This may be a little bit over aggressive, but what's life if not taking a few risks? Send these guys up this way. Once they get closer, we'll have some anti-aircraft in support. I'm also going to send some B-17s out to scout ahead. On a little bit of a zigzag course to kind of try and scout out for enemy submarines. Well, they're not going to get there. Their endurance is 500 nautical miles, so I way oversold the length, but they'll turn back automatically once they reach their max. I wish there was a way to set, like, a patrol or to, like, order an air group to be, like, flying overhead or something like that of a task force. There you go. So the B-17s detected an enemy submarine. So let's go ahead and try and bomb these guys. It's a lot of B-17s to try and hit an enemy sub. They're probably going to be too slow to get there before it submerges. Submarine? So they're actually behind you, huh? Alright, B-17s. Go attack your target here. Be great if they could have depth charges. Alright. Our fortresses are turning. By the way, I do have one complaint that the general size of the air units and engagements in the game are not very well modeled. Like, they should be way more aircraft than there are. That being said, 12 B-17s in formation over the Pacific, that's the right number. That's the right number. So that is fun to see, at least. Our B-17s start in pretty close. We've got 3 flights of 4 all abreast. Who's in the lead? Looks like these guys. I don't think we're going to get there before it submerges. You can see the sub there. It's gone. Well, boys, it dove. So that sucks. He got below the surface before we could get there. I wonder if my bombers are still going to drop bombs. Like the F-4Fs from last night where they strafed the open ocean, even though the submarine was at like 500 feet. I'm curious if these guys will still drop their payloads. Could be fun to watch 12 loads of B-17s unload over the open ocean. It'll be good training for them, right? Did they fix the bug with the Avengers? I thought there was a bug with the Avengers that prevented you from being able to use them very well against ASWs. Or as ASWs. Let's see if they drop their bombs. They're just about over the target. Yeah. 4 2,000-pounders each. That's a nice pattern there, though. They would have really obliterated that enemy if he was still around there. Second group is dropping. You can see that. And there's the third group's payload. So now I just wasted a group of 17s. I really have to wait? The guy's below the water. What do I have to wait for? What? He's sinking? How did that happen? So this recording was me sort of reacting in the moment to those B-17s dropping bombs on a submarine and sinking it. What I have since found out in several hours of playing since this was recorded, because again, this was taken from a live stream on my Twitch channel, is that often when the enemy submarines dive from you, they will only dive to periscope depth. And if you were to drop 20, 30, or whatever, I mean, a formation of 12 times 4, so 48 2,000-pound bombs, just 20 or 30 feet above a submarine, the concussion and shock wave that would pass from the explosion on the surface through the water would almost certainly crush and destroy a submarine. And so, in theory, if you were in a bomber and you dropped a stick of bombs right on top of an enemy submarine that had just dove, it would get fucked up. And so I didn't really think about that at the time, again, reacting live in the moment, but that is a thing, and that's what happened. All right, with that being said, I am going to go ahead and jump ahead here a little bit in the game. About 30 to 40 minutes, there was another battle that was fought where a Japanese submarine, another one, attacked one of my cargo task forces that was trying to bring some supplies and marines up to Guadalcanal. One of the ships carrying, I believe, supplies was actually sunk by the submarine, but we did sink the sub. And so far in this episode, we have sunk 2 enemy submarines, but I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead just because we've seen a lot of sub-attacks and anti-submarine warfare and that kind of stuff in the game. And so let's go ahead and jump ahead here a little bit with our battleship task force getting involved in some other interesting actions. Okay. The only problem is, now that the aircraft have expended their fuel, they need to return to Ranelli, so we will be a little bit vulnerable. But we haven't seen enemy, attack aircraft yet. The enemy surface task... Oh, shit. Those might be attack aircraft. They look different than Zeros, so that might be enemy attack aircraft. We'll see. Boys, turn your radars on. It's kind of annoying that I have to turn the radars on. Meanwhile, let's pause for a second and see what we're up against here. So, we've got an enemy scouting aircraft over here for enemy cruisers. We've got what appear to be Naval dive bombers. Oh boy. Over here. So there's 4 Valve dive bombers. Oh, but no. But wait, there's more. There appear to be 8 enemy Val dive bombers. Already, on top of us, by the way. So good luck, boys. At least the Atlanta's back there, right? Well, if we change the formation at this point, I think it's too late, Newhauser. All that would do is throw our entire formation into Pandemonium. We could be against carriers, but it might also just be land-based aircraft. All right. We'll wait and see how this goes from the point of view of the battleship, which I'm sure will be the target. Let's go. You can see all those 5-inchers cruising up there, those dual-purpose 5-inchers. The 50 I guess those are Orlikins now coming into action. Look at all that. One of them's smoking. They're angling over. Are they attacking the cruiser in the rear? 2 of them are crashing. 3 of them are crashing. But it looks like they got their bombs off. The Atlanta took some damage. Oh, God. Oh, God, she's in bad shape. Heavy damage, minor flooding. Her superstructure's torn all to bits. Looks like they also hit one of the destroyers, the Nichols. She's critical damage and flooding, so we're going to lose another Fletcher, boys. This guy's trying to escape. Did these guys drop their bombs already? They must have. The one group targeted the lead destroyer, the other group targeted the rear cruiser. Val dive bombers, that's what happened, Devonia. I mean, the destroyer's gonna die. I'm hopeful the Atlanta can make it out. Crippled, maybe, but she's suffering moderate flooding. She's lost 70 or 60% of her speed. She almost looks dead in the water. Alright, let's see if we can get out of here. Yeah. So, the Nichols was scuttled, the 2,500-ton Fletcher-class destroyer. That leaves us with the San Diego, an anti-aircraft cruiser of the Atlanta class that suffered heavy damage, moderate flooding. The North Carolina, Brooklyn, and Cunningham, all of which suffered no damage. The enemy lost 4 aircraft. So, that means we're going to break this formation up. I am going to send the San Diego away. Back to New Hebrides, if she can make it. Meanwhile, that leaves our task force, which is trying to clear the area, with 1 battleship, 1 light cruiser, and 1 destroyer. Oh no, they didn't stop a battleship group. All they did was delay her, boys. All they did was delay her. We are still going to try and engage the enemy with our battle fleet. Somehow they ended up behind us. So it's going to be 2 destroyers, 2 light cruisers, and a heavy cruiser versus Task Force 6, the North Carolina, Brooklyn, and Cunningham. Meanwhile, our B-17s flew right by. I don't know if they're still going to be in range or not. They softened the fleet up. There's no doubt about that. My fear at this point is more the fact that our battleships are going to be going against a lot of enemy torpedoes. But the good news for us is it's daylight, so I'm hopeful that the game will start our fleets off far enough apart that I can maintain the distance and pound them with 16-inchers while they cannot accurately fire at me. That's the hope. But if the game pushes us real close together at the start of the fight, that's a concern, because if we start on top of each other, I'm fucked. In any event, we're going to jump in just a second. I actually need to go throw some clothes from the wash into the dryer. So we're going to take like a 3 or 4 minute break right before the biggest, well, not the biggest. That heavy cruiser fight we had was larger in terms of ship, but the most important naval battle that we have fought so far. All right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up here. It's a little bit on the shorter end, but we usually, we're actually about to jump into a surface battle that would make this video a little bit too long if we included that. So we'll have to stay tuned for the next episode where we'll focus on that battleship engagement against an enemy formation in the daytime with the USS North Carolina going at it. So stay tuned for that, because I think that's going to make a really great episode. With that being said, before we wrap this up, I do want to just address one thing. I hear you guys. I try to read all my comments, and I read a lot of them, and you'll see because I respond to a lot of them. But I've seen a lot of comments out there but like, man, you really need to learn the game more before you make a video, or you really need to, read the manual before you make a video. And I hear you guys. Definitely not everybody's saying that, but there's some people that are saying that. And just as I reiterate, this was taken from a live stream from my Twitch channel. I think this is the 2nd or the 3rd night the game was out. I was maybe 4 or 5 hours, maybe 6 hours into the gameplay. Of learning how to play this game as I was recording this material. And while I understand that a lot of people sort of have the mindset of like, you should know the game in and out before you actually share it, that's never been my approach. My approach has always been deliberate. By the way, this is deliberate. It's not me trying to be lazy, but deliberately I've always been of the opinion the vast majority of people when they buy a game are not going to read the manual. Not in 2021, not in 2020, not in 2019. People just today, for better or worse, and I think for some games it's worse, they just don't read the manual. They download the game and they just want to play it. And so the approach that I've always had with this channel is that for my first look series, I always want to jump in and just play it and show you, the viewer, what the experience is. If you decide to buy this game, what 90% of people, some people do read the manual, but what 90% of people are going to experience when they play the game. And that's sort of been what I've tried to share. And that's pros and cons, right? Like some games are really intuitive and really easy to pick up and play. Some of them aren't. And so when games aren't as intuitive, it does sometimes lead to a little bit of frustration. Sometimes it can lead to a little bit of pain watching you play. But I also think some of the best moments in gaming are as you figure things out. If you go into a game and you know everything and everything's perfect, they're not as fun to play. Like mistakes, boneheaded errors, they can be really fun and like kind of cringeworthy and laughy, like kind of watching a car accident, but they can also be fun to watch. And I think you do, in my opinion, you do get a little bit of that in this because these are live streams, they are taken there, so there's interaction with the audience. And, we've had a really good turnout. Like over the last 7 to 8 days, we've had such a good turnout that I've been able to apply for a Twitch partnership, which you've got to average like over 75 viewers at all times when you're streaming. And that's not that easy to do on Twitch, especially for these types of games. And I've been averaging like over 130 on my streams of this game. So we've been doing very well because I think this is a really fun game to watch. And I think it's a really pretty game to watch. And I think it's a game that, as you're struggling to get through some of these UI pieces that are clunky, it's enjoyable. But I recognize that's not for everybody. And so what I would say is if you really want to watch some series that are really well done, really polished, someone who knows the game better than I did at the time I was playing this. I think now, I'm 20 plus hours into the game at this point, and not what you're watching here, but we're behind. I'm further ahead in the streams. And if you want to watch someone who's at this time knows the game much more in and out, I highly recommend you check out Wolfpack345. He makes some really great edited, high-quality content. And then also Tortuga Power, who makes some very informative videos as well on the Sea Power. So definitely check those guys out. I chat with them daily. They're great guys. They make great content. And they're really, I highly recommend their stuff. I do hope you still watch my stuff because I do think it's entertaining, even if it's not always the most, top-tier editing and polishing and all of that, because I think it's fun. And I think I'm trying to appeal to somewhat of a slightly different segment in terms of what people are looking for in their videos. But again, I hear you guys. Just know that it's not going to change, anytime soon. It's not going to be a perfect stream because if it was a perfect stream, for me anyway, that would be a little bit boring for me to share. But I definitely appreciate people who do that because I think it helps you learn the game better and it helps you see what a game can be. With that being said, that's enough of me being on my soapbox. Again, I do appreciate you all tuning in. I do appreciate you all listening and watching and commenting and kind of leaving your thoughts. And I do hope you stick around for the next episode at least because for those of you who are looking for a more polished approach, I think you get that, at least to a fair degree, in the next battle. So I'm learning. I'm getting better. I think these videos are getting better. I think I'm enjoying this series more and more as I play it more and more. Hopefully you guys stick around and you enjoy this. But until next time, guys, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I'm out.